Hi everyone, Christo's here with Better at BI, and today I want to talk to the consumers. Today I want to talk to those of you who have put in requests and have been told, yeah, no, we can't do that. Uh, I want to show you a tool that your data folks might use. I'm not going to make you an expert in this video. In fact, I've been doing this for several years, and in this video that I'm going to show, you'll see where I fail, where the process fails. What you don't see is it took me 2 hours, over 2 hours, to get things all figured out so that it would run. I'm saying this because this is a driver in the can't, right? This is why your BI folks might say they can't do it. So we got to give them a little respect. But we have to be honest too. It takes a lot of work to do what we're going to do. So I want to show you one way to get this data to kind of let you know you do have access to your data. It is your data. You need to get your data and keep your data. So again, SSIS, high level overview. You can share this with your BI folks. You're not going to be an expert. I really hope you like this. If you have a question or comment, please comment below. If you want to subscribe, I'm trying to keep these videos going every week or every other week. But again, thanks for coming by. Hi everyone, Christo's with Better at BI. And today I want to talk about getting data from one place, in this situation, a big CSV file, 800 megabytes, to another place, which is a SQL server. I don't want to talk to the BI pros in this video. I want to talk to you all, the consumers, the CFOs, the managers, the directors, everyone in between. Oftentimes, you need analytics. More often than not, we either don't have that data as BI pros, or it's not really available to us. I have a friend of mine who was exasperated and was wondering why couldn't he have a dashboard every week that gave him the information that he needed. Part of the problem was he's got data, his organization has data all over the place. So this video is one way that we can get data from a CSV file into a SQL server so that he can start building a more robust dashboard. So it's really easy. Again, your DBA will be a lot more skilled. You're not going to leave this video an expert in building SSIS packages, but I am going to show you how relatively easy it can be. I often just do SSIS packages here, and you can either do new SSIS package or you can do the import export wizard. Let's do new SSIS package for right now. And now it's creating a new file, as you can see. So the first thing I want to do at the custom flow is I'm going to add a new data flow task. Drop that in there. And now I'm going to double click on this data flow task. And I'll explain this in a second. So the first thing I want to do now is I need a source. So where's my source? So over here, so on the left here, what I'm looking for is a flat file source. So I'll click on other sources, and there's flat file source. You see that? I'm going to click and drag that in. And now I'm going to double click on flat file source. I'm going to select new because I'm looking for a new connection. And there it is. So I'm going to browse. Now I happen to know that this is in my downloads file. It's looking for text by default, so I'm going to look for CSV, and there it is. This is a 900 megabyte or 800 megabyte file of all the police incidents for the city of Cincinnati for the past decade. Okay, your DBA, if he or she knows the specifics of all the columns, he or she will be able to kind of quickly look and make sure this is set up properly. I often will look at, I'll go to this advanced columns here, and I'll look at all my fields. What I'm looking for are things like create time incident. You see that? It thinks it's a string, but it's really a date time. So here's where you or the DBA can hit this drop down box and select something different. But I want to show you a neat little trick. What I often do is I'll click on this Suggest Types button, and instead of 200 rows, let's look at, we'll go with 2,000, zip this thing along a little bit. And we'll hit OK. And what it's doing now is it's running through, as you would imagine, 2,000 rows and seeing what needs to change. And you can see it's now changed that incident date time from a string to a date. It's probably done the same thing over here. Perfect world, the DBA will go through this and be a lot more precise than what I'm doing. Again, this is intended to give you, the consumer, an idea of what needs to happen so you can get your big data someplace that you can actually use. So let's go ahead, and if we want to, we'll hit preview just to make us feel good, I guess. Oh, look at that. Looks pretty awesome. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. Right? We can name this something if we want to. We can look at the columns. See, yep, that's what I want. But, you know, if we wanted to, by the way, if we wanted to change this, if we wanted to change from CPD neighborhood to CPD neighborhoods, right, we can simply make that change right here. Or if you've gotten information from your vendor and let's say district, what the vendor calls district, you call region, or you call, you know, area, this is where you can make a change to the output column. When the SSIS package runs, it's going to read district and say, nope, we're going to call this region, or we're going to call this sales district, or something like that. But for right now, we're going to leave it as is and hit OK. Now, the next step is to bring in a destination. Where do you want this stuff to go? So I'm going to go back to this SSIS toolbox here, and I'm going to bring in the destination. So what destination? It's going to be my other destinations. Excuse me for a second. OLDB destination. Now your DBA, he or she may have a better idea of what to do here. I often just use this field. I'm going to click on this blue because blue means it's successful. So if this runs successfully, then it's going to dump data here successfully. But now we've got to pick where we want this to go, right? So I've already set up in SSIS, in Visual Studio, a connection to my database, and that's this destination connection OLDB. I'm going to skip over this because it can be a little more complicated. But I need to know where to put it. So right now it's looking at, I don't want to overwrite these two tables, so I'm going to choose new. So your DBA could quickly just add new. What we're looking at here is the SQL, right? It's the SQL that is basically generated behind the scene to create the table, right? To create this table. So what we will do, what your DBA will do, is change create table from OLE DBA table to something like Cinti _ PD _ you know what? I'll just make it simple. CPDI. There you go. So if everything works fine, if I click OK here, I'm going to click OK here. And now, if it all worked, it never works the first time around. But if I want to see how it's going to work, I could just click on Start. Now, it always errors out. And the reason why I'm going to show you this error is to kind of give you an idea of the complexity of what's happening here. It often isn't as simple as bing, bang, boom. So I hit the Start button, and it's spinning because it's chunking through all this data. I'm going to go to Package Explorer because what I want to look at is there it is. So it failed. It's saying, you know, the output input columns. So this is where someone who's not as experienced as a DBA, someone like myself, we have to keep going back and forth, figuring out where the errors are, going back and making some changes. But your more experienced DBAs will be able to quickly figure this out and quickly kind of put this together. So as a less than awesome DBA, I kind of have to go back and forth here. Your DBA will be able to quickly look through everything and go, yep, say everything seems to be mapping just fine. The inputs are this, the outputs are that, and kind of make it happen. But it's really that simple to start the process. And once it's built, once the process is built, like over here, this Cincinnati Fire Calls DTSX, once it's built, you don't have to touch it anymore. You can drop the file. You can, this points to an Excel file. You can just put your new Excel file in that same exact location. It's going to read the data and it's going to update the database or delete the database, however you want to do it. But once it's set up, it's set it and forget it. It's Ron Popeil, right? Set it and forget it. You don't have to do anything. You can now also, if you wanted to, have your DBA schedule this so that every day, every week, every month, this script runs and your SQL database is updated. So that's it. High-level overview of how to get big data from one place to another using SSIS.